Jaime, seriously, thanks for being here.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Risk is a funny thing because it freaks some people out, me included, but there's also something about it that is so attractive and so tantalizing. Why have you been so drawn to it?
Risk is a funny thing because when people say risk, especially when you frame it that way, the implication is either there's an element of randomness, right, or that's the outcome. It can be very, very costly because it's either unlikely to pay out or the actual, chance of losing might be really costly. But the way that I see risk is really, if you're able to actually quantify those elements, it's really a price that you pay for an opportunity. The way that I look at risk in that sense, it's not that I'm attracted to these thrill seeks. It's, I think this is worth it, right? I think I can identify these are the probabilities or possibilities, and sometimes I can't, but at least I can map them out. And this is what the possible outcome is. And I'm like, let's do this.
Okay, let's do this. Let's really talk about that. Because what you're saying is you're really talking about what it means for something to be risky. When you started WallStreetBets, the way you've talked about it is that you said you wanted a place where people could talk about risky ideas and they could talk about it kind of proudly, risky trade ideas. You were enabling other people to take risks. So can you tell us, like, what worries did you have at the time that things potentially could go wrong for them?
You know, my definition, my understanding and my position on risk has evolved, right? It's become clear as the years gone by. And early on, I justified this by saying, well, look, they're all adults. You have to be 18 in order to open up a brokerage. Same thing if you go to a casino, everyone can go through. And when I said I wanted to be able to discuss high risk, I wanted to discuss high risk, high return, right? It wasn't just high risk is throwing your money out the window and having it go away with 100% certainty. This was high risk with the possibility of making money. And those two obviously go hand in hand. There are some that are irresponsible with it, but I can't make myself responsible in much the same way that there's gambling addicts, right? But outside of that, what I start seeing is a learning process, much like the one that I personally went through. I lost tons of money, but I walked away with so much knowledge and understanding and hands-on experience that a textbook can never explain to you.
I want to ask you about someone who sort of counts as your really, really complete opposite, Jack Bogle. He was the founder of Vanguard. He helped popularize the very vanilla, very boring idea that if you're an investor, you can diversify your bets. He ended up popularizing the index fund. How did it feel that you, in some ways, were kind of singularly responsible for changing the way that just millions of people think about investing? What did that feel like?
It was humbling for sure. It was unexpected to see the enthusiasm. If I were to have predicted the outcome of it, it would have been people looking down at this particular type of activity. Secretly, it was almost a goal of mine. But the beauty of it is what conservative investors do, Bogle, Buffett, whatever it might be, is no different than what gamblers that literally go to sit at a roulette table do. The changes in the vision that WallStreetBets were, it demystified the idea of finance to people that might otherwise think it's just Excel sheets and discounted cash flows.
You also took a different kind of risk and you sued Reddit and you lost. Will you tell us a little bit about what that felt like?
Terrible. Yeah, that was probably in the top 5 riskiest things, if not 3. I get kicked out, and the stubbornness behind Reddit, they never answered. I tried pleading and sorries and threats and back channels and lawyers. They would just be like, no, you're done. They got to a point where they said, no, we're done trying to negotiate. We want to take you to court with this. And I said, all right, well, I guess now I have to actually go to court. And so this is when I decided to countersue them.
So it didn't feel like a risk. It felt like just something you had to do.
I needed to do it for closure. I still had a chip on my shoulder, and I couldn't fully commit to anything. And I'd still kind of look at, every time I'd see WallStreetBets on the news or people talking about it, it would still have that kind of sour feeling. And so, and I needed to get past that. And I'm like, look, if I lose, I lose. And then it is what it is. And it would have been the fight of the century for me, or my lifetime for me. But then I can be at peace. Right?
Is that how you feel now? Are you at peace?
Unfortunately not, because it's not over yet. I would have liked for the judge to have been like, no, dude, you lose and it's over. You know, I don't want to cover too much on the legal side of things, but the judge, let's just say they left plenty of room for maneuvering. So unfortunately, it's not over.
I was told, I really don't know what it is. I was told you brought an object, I think, that maybe encapsulates risk. I think Natasha, my colleague, is gonna pass it to us, I do believe. What is this? Okay. All right. Tell us about this guy.
You're familiar with this?
Yeah. Remind me.
So this is from a meme, right? It says, "This is fine." It's a little dog, and this encapsulates so much of both my life and my ability to handle emotions, especially with the volatility of markets, but also life in general. It gives you so many ups and downs and so many ways to go through it. Oftentimes, when faced with adversity, my composure resembles this. It's like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Can I see him?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, this is mine now. Jaime, thank you so much for being here. Loved having you.
Not a problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Watch the Businessweek Show Thursday nights, 10:30 Eastern on Bloomberg Television, or 8:30 on Bloomberg.com or the Bloomberg app on connected TVs.